Welcome, everybody, to Realmcast's Toasty Tuesday, where we break down this week's news in Mortal Kombat. On this week's Toasty Tuesday, we've got some information on the 30th Mortal Kombat anniversary, along with Mortal Kombat 12 rumors. There's some Utah Saints are back in the news again, as well as Mortal Kombat Annihilation, believe it or not. We'll also be discussing EVO and the new Mortal Kombat Legends cartoon. Yani, you've got a lot for us today.
Well, I mean, it's been a while since our last Toasty Tuesday, and here we are with suddenly an entire essay's worth of topics.
Yeah, it's funny. I was talking to Bran yesterday about that, and he said it's been almost a year now since he was last on the show, and I think that was either a bite-sized episode or a Toasty Tuesday. So,
yeah, for those who don't realize, Bran is Mr. Midnight Owl.
Yeah,
who is our script insider.
And I guess there's a reason for that. I mean, there hasn't been a lot of Mortal Kombat news until this month, basically.
No, it's been pretty, dead.
Yeah,
really. There's been absolutely nothing going on apart from, well, what we're about to talk about today.
All right, so let's start off with 30th Mortal Kombat anniversary.
That's coming up.
Do you know something I don't? Or is it just coming up? That's it? That's all we got?
I mean, the way I think about this is every single year, everybody expects NRS or WB to do something for the Mortal Kombat anniversary. And every single year, without fail, everybody's disappointed.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I don't know. 30 is a big number.
It is, yeah. But like, also, the 25th anniversary was like our last big milestone. And did we get anything at that time?
I don't even remember, to be honest. It's been so long.
Oh yeah, 5 years.
Yeah, but we'll find out. For those of you who don't know, October 8th, 2022 is the 30th Mortal Kombat anniversary. Mortal Kombat 1, 1992 was released on October 8th, 92. So it's been a while.
Are you expecting anything?
I mean, I think we can actually go into that as we talk about the news we're getting, because I have a feeling some of this stuff will correlate with the Mortal Kombat anniversary.
Okay. Well, yeah. I guess let's jump into this next topic then. Mortal Kombat 12. There are a lot of rumors going around, and I don't know if you've been paying attention, but like 4chan boards have been filling up with the most ridiculous rumors ever. And you know, I make fun of these type of things, except for when it comes to like Rambo, and I'm proven completely wrong.
I still remember that.
You know, at this point, I have no idea what to expect with Mortal Kombat 12 because I'm so jaded by Rambo appearing in 11 that I don't even know what to say anymore when these rumors come out.
It's quite clear that Mortal Kombat 12's lead protagonist will be the Mask.
I mean, that's what 4chan says, right?
I mean, so, I've lost touch with most of the actual leaks that have been coming out of 4chan and everywhere else, basically, but there's been a lot.
Yeah. And I mean, why are we talking about Mortal Kombat 12 and not Injustice 3 or some mystery NRS project?
Well, I mean, we are talking about perhaps not NRS, but we are talking about Multiversus lately, which is coming out of WB,
True.
Right? But yes, that is a good question. Why aren't we talking about Injustice 3? We would all assume that Injustice would come out, but based on the previous release schedule of the previous games, we had MK9, we had Injustice, we had MKX, we had Injustice 2, and then MK11. Mm-hmm. So following true to pattern, we would expect Injustice 3, especially, I don't know if you remember, around when Mortal Kombat 11 came out, Ed Boon was quoted as saying something, if I remember correctly, was quoted as saying that after Mortal Kombat 11's release, they'd like to take a bit of a break from Mortal Kombat, give it a bit of time to actually settle in. But if rumors are to be believed, it looks like Injustice 3 is actually being skipped over for Mortal Kombat 12, and I really wonder why that is.
That, I mean, again, this is all rumors. We have no sources to actually back this up, and we don't know. But, there has been a lot of discussion about how the Warner Brother Discovery merger is affecting NRS, and this could be related to that. We don't know if perhaps the new staff overturning, or the new president that's coming in, taking over and overseeing the WB Discovery effort, might have said, hey, look, you have something big with Mortal Kombat. Let's do some more Mortal Kombat games. Or maybe there's right changes going on. Maybe something is happening to the game, could be being shuffled around on the board, and WB wants to release one more Mortal Kombat game because, let's face it, money. Warner Brothers loves money, it seems.
Well, everybody does, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, it would make a lot of sense because MK11, as far as I've read, statistically, was the highest selling game of its release year. And
hmm
that's a big feat. Though, in terms of support, obviously, we complained a lot over the course of our Turcotte and Bite Size episodes with regards to lack of support. But it really did sell well. And I suppose to them, maybe the logical decision in terms of business is to go forward with selling another million units of Mortal Kombat 12, right? So that would make sense. And personally, as much as I love Injustice and as excited as I would be for Injustice 3, I prefer Mortal Kombat. So I'm actually happy with this news if it does turn out to be true. What about yourself?
Uh, I mean, wouldn't you be more excited for the rumor of Mortal Kombat versus DC, or Mortal Kombat versus Injustice
No,
being the next game?
no, not at
Really?
all.
So you'd rather see Mortal Kombat 12?
Well, I mean, one of the things that I've always complained about is the whole Mortal Kombat's and inclusion of guests, too many guests.
Yeah.
And the biggest issue, in my opinion, with Mortal Kombat, which is holding back Mortal Kombat, is the fact that there are so many guests which don't allow for the roster to evolve properly, especially when they've got the same characters coming in every single game. By having so many guests, or by having a game which is literally Mortal Kombat versus DC or Injustice, then half the roster, you would assume, would be taken up by Injustice characters, or DC characters rather. So then on top of that, who's to say that we don't get guests as well in this game, right? So it's Mortal Kombat, it's DC, and then it's other guests. So I don't think that, like, I love the lore, and I want to see characters we haven't seen for a long time. I want to see Havoc. I want to see Serena.
Yeah.
I want to see Smoke return. Okay, to be fair, that's against what I'm saying about the roster. I admit to that. But I still would like to see more Mortal Kombat characters that we haven't seen in a long time. Hotaru, for example, many of these characters deserve a shot. So, yeah.
Well, how many guest characters do we end up getting with 11? It was some extremely high number, considering
I've lost track because there were so many, actually. We had Joker,
Yeah.
Rambo, Robocop. Who else was there? Spawn, who was actually an amazing guest, I will admit.
Terminator.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was at least one more.
I mean, if they did decide to do a Mortal Kombat versus Injustice game, then that would kind of be on par for the amount of guest characters that we're getting in Mortal Kombat these days. Just saying. But, as we mentioned, there are a lot of rumors about Mortal Kombat 12. So maybe we'll find out on October 8th. What do you think?
Well,
for the
I don't think so. I actually don't. We've always been disappointed when it comes to getting news about the games and such. But if they were to do anything like you're saying, or like we're saying with MK versus DC, and then bringing in guest characters, that roster would end up looking a lot like Multiversus, in my opinion. And they already have a game with all of these different IPs in it, don't they? On the way, at least.
Yes, they do. Have you played Multiversus yet? Because there's been at least 2 betas so far that you can play.
I think you gave me your code.
Oh, I think I did. Yeah, because if you're a beta player, you can invite others. So
yes.
Yeah. So what did you think?
I enjoyed it. It did heavily remind me of Smash Bros. Like big time. It was clear. It was fun. I think I played Wonder Woman mostly, and I played Taz.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But I don't think I got to play Batman, actually.
Yeah, I
was
think I
locked.
just did Wonder Woman. Yeah, I did the little tutorials and stuff,
Mm.
and I was like, okay, this is kind of like Smash Brothers with extra steps, and I put it down, and I was one of like the initial beta testers, so I felt kind of bad for not playing it as long as I probably could have. But it's very much a multiplayer game, and I was playing it on PC, and if you're playing a game on PC, your multiplayer options are kind of limited to people online, and I like to play with people in person. Same with Mortal Kombat. That's why I like fighting games, because people can come over and I can kick their ass, and then I'm the best person in the room. But with this, if I were to keep going, I was like, well, I'm gonna have to play with somebody online. We're gonna have to figure out how to fight together and stuff like that, and our movesets have to match up. And I just kind of got disinterested. But
Yeah.
if this game comes out on platforms like the Switch or home consoles, when that sort of thing happens, I might pick it up and play it at the house, because I think that'll be pretty fun.
Yeah, it would be fun in that way. But to be honest, I was mostly put off at how. Well, first, obviously, it was a beta. I will totally give them that. And as I said, it was a lot of fun. But it was very laggy. The actual menu itself. And on top of that, I didn't like that literally from the beta, I was being assaulted with microtransactions. I don't like that. I really do not like that. That is too much. And I don't like that we're at that point in time in gaming.
And microtransactions have been a proven thing to work with. Like, look at Mortal Kombat. And the mobile game is still going on, and people are still buying into that and buying these new cards that come out. They're putting more support into the mobile game than they did into Mortal Kombat 11.
Yes.
And we're still getting guest or new characters coming out for that. So it works. I hate it, but it works, and that's how.
Just because it
that's
works
why Mortal Kombat 11
ethically, and I know, yes, business, this is that, sure, but the moment this is regulated properly, and it looks like that's happening now with all the news coming out. We've got Belgium clamping down on this. We've got the Netherlands as well, and I'm curious to see how this actually goes. Yeah, they're. Firstly, it started off with just not allowing loot boxes. And I don't know, for example, the whole news with, like, let's just say Diablo Immortal. Diablo Immortal was straight up banned, as far as I'm aware, in Belgium and the Netherlands because of how, well, the loot box aspect, the RNG, the microtransactions, they were extremely predatory. And that is something that I'm concerned about with seeing Multiversus, because at least with Smash Bros, as far as I remember, you would have the roster, and yes, you could unlock a few characters as you played, and I think you could purchase a few. It's like Mortal Kombat, you have the roster, and then you get the DLC. But Multiversus seems to be that, based on my understanding, you start off with 5 playable characters rotating each week. So let's just say very similar to a sort of MOBA. Let's just say League of Legends or something. And you unlock them as you play by unlocking certain currency, I'm assuming coins, or something like that. But you can also skip ahead and buy them with real money. So people will say, oh, but it's not pay to win. You can unlock everybody. You can play everybody. I see what you're saying. But it's definitely pay to progress faster. And that's really where the ethical discussion comes in. But Multiversus looks like it is going to be fun. And it's really cool to see all those IPs. And we haven't seen Scorpion yet, have we?
No, we haven't seen any Mortal Kombat characters, which kind of brings me into something else. So the game director, Tony, and I can't pronounce his last name, Huynh, because I am not very good at names like that. But Director Tony, I'm going to call him, he actually made a tweet recently retweeting basically a fan post by @FZTR, where they made a Multiversus version of Princess Katana, and the tweet says, "Wow, looks great. No promises though." So, they are talking about it, I guess. They're acknowledging that fans want Mortal Kombat in Multiversus, and it is a WB property, so that is still a very big possibility. And then recently, there's been a few Multiversus leaks, I think, online, haven't there?
Yeah, so firstly, there was a leak, but then I think somebody got the audio files and found certain voice lines for specific characters, and one of them indicated that we would be getting Scorpion.
Are we allowed to talk about that?
Surprise! I mean, it's in multiple articles online.
Was it Scorpion's voice, or was it the one where Stripe from the Gremlins? Is it that one that you're talking about?
I mean, I did hear about that one too, but I'm reading an article right now, which actually comes from videogameschronicle.com. And this actually has a list. That's why my screen just suddenly went super bright and my face lit up. So you've got characters which are mostly finished, according to a user on Reddit.
And, there was also talks of Gandalf being in the game, but I read an article recently before we start recording saying that the Tolkien estate basically pulled Gandalf out of the game. So he's not going to be a character at this point, it seems.
That's interesting. And actually, what's also interesting is that the Reddit post that this article was sourced from has been removed.
Oh, ouch. Yeah. So there could be some truth to this rumor, and hopefully this video doesn't get removed in the same way.
And this person is actually known for proper leaks. So I don't know if anybody's watching at this point and you're wondering what's going on because it's been cut out and skipped ahead. That's because we've decided to remove the previous segment for specific reasons.
So the leaked Striped audio that came out, it did have him yelling out, "Get over here," in a gremlin voice. So
really,
he could be mocking a Mortal Kombat character, or maybe he is that stand-in. Maybe he's got some kind of grappling move that will do that, and it's kind of tongue-in-cheek making fun of us for wanting Mortal Kombat characters in Multiversus.
I don't remember the character completely, but as far as I understand, the character is able to steal from other characters or steal their abilities or something.
Oh no, so Stripe, he was just one of the gremlins. He was like their leader, and he had a little mohawk, and just another little gremlin from Gremlins 1. And then but he's not really I don't know what his power sets are going to be. I don't know what any of these power sets are going to be in the game for some of these characters, like Gizmo.
I thought I read that he could steal abilities or something. So what about Gizmo?
Maybe he can. I mean, Gizmo, I'm imagining he's going to be like Rambo because of Gremlins 2. So maybe he's going to have Rambo's movesets.
Well, I think we're actually going to probably circle back around to Multiversus in a second, but I'm curious. You mentioned the Utah Saints.
So that's another topic I have. So do you remember Utah Saints? They were in Mortal Kombat 95's soundtrack. They basically took the Immortals Mortal Kombat theme, the main one that everybody knows, Techno Syndrome, and they made their own version of it.
Yeah, the remix. Yeah.
Yeah, Wikipedia literally calls it Utah Saints' take on the theme from Mortal Kombat by Utah Saints. Okay. So they actually were back in the news recently in The Guardian. And the reason being, with the popularity of Stranger Things right now, everybody's talking about Kate Bush running up that hill. I turned on the radio yesterday for the first time in about 5 years, and Kate Bush's Running Up That Hill is playing like 3 times. So, Kate Bush has gained some new popularity, and it looks like Utah Saints is talking to The Guardian about their career, and they actually sampled one of Kate Bush's song, Cloud Busting, in their original mix of their songs called Something Good. So I don't know. I thought that was kind of cool, that we're hearing about some of these artists from the Mortal Kombat 95 soundtrack, because they were all fantastic artists. And if you're interested, you can have a look up Utah Saints on whatever listening platform you use, and it's called Something Good. And then you can compare it to Kate Bush's Cloud Busting, which is also a good song, and they're very different, but it's cool to hear the two of them.
That is cool, actually. It's always nice hearing, like, looking back on who used to be around and who's done things for the old Mortal Kombat days and hearing what they're up to now, So,
yeah, and speaking of, I mean, that's a good reason to listen to the Realmcast, because that's what we do. We talk to these people. So yeah, just a quick shout out to our main show, the Realmcast. If you're interested, you can find it on mortalkombatonline.com, or wherever you listen to podcasts. We release them about once a month, and we sit down and talk to some of the influential members of the Mortal Kombat community, the people who have kind of built this franchise into what it is today. So that's a quick shout out for that.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool actually, because I realized that we haven't done a Toasty Tuesday and talked about the news, on video or audio, that we've become the official podcast for Mortal Kombat Online. This is the first news segment that we can even mention that. So anybody who's not really kept up with us up until now, in terms of text posts and such, there's some news for you.
Yeah. So have a look, Mortal Kombat Online, or you just go to realmcast.com. Either way, and you can find our new episodes there. And also in, related to older Mortal Kombat movie franchises, Screen Rant just posted an article recently, yesterday, actually. And I think it's funny because they're referencing a fan theory from Reddit, on our fan theories, by a user called Bigger Gorilla 10. And Screen Rant's pulling out 3-year-old Reddit articles, okay, but it's Mortal Kombat related, so I thought I'd talk about it.
I want to see where this is going.
Okay, so there is a fan theory that Mortal Kombat Annihilation is not technically the sequel to Mortal Kombat 95. Here's how the theory kind of goes. I'll break it down and give it to you in a very quick version. The user Bigger Gorilla 10 goes into a lot of details, but what they said is, Mortal Kombat 95 ends, Shao Kahn bursts out of the temple, says, you weak, pathetic fools, I've come for your souls. And Raiden's like, I don't think so. Movie ends. And you're wondering what happens. So the story continued. Different things happened. Johnny Cage gets back home. And now there's some issues because, first of all, Liu Kang, he challenged Shang Tsung in a unsanctioned match and killed him. And right before he did that, he killed another member of Outworld, being Reptile. And basically, Earthrealm are a bunch of foreign invaders sent in by Raiden. And now Shao Kahn's come over and he's challenging the winnings of the tournament. And there's this whole big legal mess. Earthrealm's lawyers are getting involved. Like, it's kind of ridiculous. And so what does Johnny Cage do at this point? Johnny Cage sits down, needs to make some money. He makes a movie called Mortal Kombat Annihilation. And in this movie, he casts an actor to play himself. He cast, some this person to play Sonya Blade and makes her more of a sex figure in this movie because he likes Sonya Blade. And he brings in some of his old friends, like the now dishonored Liu Kang, who has a whole legal team behind him trying to petition for his winnings. And basically, Mortal Kombat Annihilation is not the sequel to Mortal Kombat 95, but it is actually a in-universe movie, which kind of talks about what happened after Mortal Kombat 95 or something. And it explains, some of the special effects and, Johnny Cage wanting to do the newest, coolest things and stuff like that. I thought it was an interesting theory, worth exploring. And, if you want to go back and rewatch the movies, it's a new way to watch it. And I think that's always fun. So
that's quite the theory.
What do you think? It is. I mean, I like the fact that the original poster goes into the whole idea that this is this big legal mess now.
Yeah.
Like, okay, there's an unsanctioned match. You just killed one of our contestants and the host of this tournament. What is wrong with you, Liu Kang?
I mean, the easy way to sort of counteract any of this is that wouldn't the Elder Gods have gotten involved right at the moment that he started fighting Reptile or even Shang? I love it though. I love
most of these fan theories are like, actually, Liu Kang is in a psych ward and all of his friends were dead and he just dreamed the whole thing. That's how all these fan theories always go. But this one has a lot more fun to it, I think.
Yeah,
So
it's definitely fun.
if you want to check it out, yeah, we'll leave a link to it in the description. It's cool to see.
I love that this is from 3 years ago and Screen Rant found it and made an entire article on it. And now you're making fun of that, but then we're sitting here talking about it.
That's how influential this fan theory is. And, as somebody I'm not the biggest fan of Annihilation, but it still holds a special place in my heart. It gives me a new way to watch it, and it's a good excuse to go back. So let's do that.
Well, how about we get into some Mortal Kombat news that's more recent, or possibly not even here yet. It might not be Mortal Kombat news though. We have Evo coming up on the 5th and 6th of August.
Yes, we do. Do you really expect anything?
Well, this is why I said I think we're going to talk about Multiversus a bit more, because I think that, WB have a spot at Evo, and I'm pretty sure that they're going to be focusing on Multiversus. They're going to be, all guns blazing on trying to advertise Multiversus as much as possible, showing off the game. The game just had a very successful beta. Everybody was very happy with it. It had a very high player count as well, but so did Mortal Kombat 11, right? It's, in my opinion, these types of games are about maintaining the player count, not just having a high player count at one point in time. You have certain games which had millions of players on one day, and then literally a week later or a month later, it's tiny. Like there's almost nobody to play with, So yeah. I don't see that happening with Multiversus. I see it staying strong. It's got way too many IPs in it to not have people who would just be like, I want to play just for this character, right? So I think they're going to focus on Multiversus, but you never know. And
they also have a good release schedule. I mean, like the way that they've been releasing these characters is kind of how like Street Fighter's done, Smash Brothers, they got a gradual plan to introduce who's coming out next on Multiversus. So in that sense, they're going to keep it going and keep that hype running.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. But we also have like certain bits of more recent MK news, which could potentially show up in some manner at Evo. Now, do I expect it? Judging by Mortal Kombat's track record, no. But also judging by Mortal Kombat's track record, expect it where you least expect it, right? So, I mean, yeah.
Any Mortal Kombat news is going to come out like on a random Wednesday while everybody's asleep. I think that actually happened one year where the news came out at like 12:30 at night, and everybody's like, "Wait, what?" And they woke up to it, and some people were like, "Wait, was this a joke?"
You mean like the recent news from today with regards to Mortal Kombat Legends?
Well, that wasn't even news. That's another leak. Should we jump into that?
Oh, are you talking about the actual news that time? Yeah, you're right. There was a very late Kombat Kast or something. Now that you remind me, it was really random because I remember heading to bed for work the next day and then waking up and seeing something huge had been announced, and I was like, "Huh? Yeah, you're right." And here I thought it was safe to sleep early.
Right.
But we do have some news which could potentially come up at Evo. And I mean, we have the recent news regarding Mortal Kombat 2021's sequel. So firstly, we have a new writer.
Yeah, that's right. So who was the last writer for the last movie?
The last writer was Greg Russo.
Yes, so he's moved on. He's as far as I know, he's still working on the Death Note sequel and a couple other projects. And they brought in somebody new for Mortal Kombat 2021.
Jeremy Slater.
Yeah, how do you feel about this?
I'm extremely happy because he handled Moon Knight.
That's right, and you're a huge Moon Knight fan. I forgot about that.
I love Moon Knight, so and I guess this is a great, better time than any to say I got into Moon Knight just purely because of some random Facebook page, Moon Knight Core, just making memes about Moon Knight, and like they've inspired me to read all these random comics, which actually just made me fall in love with Moon Knight as well as the memes themselves. But Moon Knight was done so well, in my opinion, by Jeremy Slater. And the moment I saw that he was going to be handling Mortal Kombat, he's got the double MK now, doesn't he? So I'm happy about that. But it's funny that you mentioned Greg Russo's going on to Death Note. Did you say that?
Yeah, that's I'd have to double check his IMDb, see if that project's still in the works. But last I checked, he was working on the sequel to the Death Note movie.
That is very interesting because Jeremy Slater did Death Note 1.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. So it's like they've swapped places. I think we talked about this with Mr. Midnight Owl on a previous episode.
Yeah, maybe. I gotta admit, I did not like it at all.
Oh, I was not a fan of the live action Netflix.
The anime was a masterpiece, but the movie?
Yeah. And even the Japanese versions of Death Note, their live action movies, those were decent. But the American one was strange. I like some of the directorial styles that they did in it, and there were a couple things I liked. Some of the casting was good for, especially, exactly, for Ryuk. That was awesome, but the way that the story was tweaked was strange, and that's that. I'm a little worried about Jeremy Slater for that point. So with Greg Russo, in my opinion, this is just personal opinion here, Greg Russo took whatever had become of that Mortal Kombat script that originated a long time ago.
Well, we know what happened. We analyzed them all and compared them, didn't we, with Mr. Midnight Owl?
Yeah, we have.
I feel bad for the
previous
guy.
Realmcast episodes. Yeah, exactly. He managed to polish that thing up and make a decent movie out of all these studio mandates and, kind of what had been handed to him. And he made something out of it. But bringing in Jeremy Slater, he's kind of got more control. So is he going to give it a Death Note treatment, or is he going to get a Moon Knight treatment? Like, which way are we going to go? So I don't know. I'm hoping for the best as always, but we'll see.
I'd assume he'd go with the more recent one. I think that with Moon Knight, it was done so well that I have very high amount of faith in what we're about to get, especially considering it seems that, well, we've had it confirmed, not it seems, that Simon McCoy is returning as well. And obviously
the director from Mortal Kombat.
Yep. And then Todd Garner, the producer, right? So that on top of the fact that I'm pretty sure Ed Boon and Todd Garner were tweeting at each other somewhat recently.
Oh, they have been tweeting at each other like crazy. So evidently Todd and Ed have been meeting and discussing Mortal Kombat, which didn't seem like something that was happening previously. And not only that, but Todd Garner has been listening to fans and interacting with them like so much since the last movie came out.
Yeah.
So I think, he's kind of bringing in that brainstorm. I wish Todd would reach out to Tobias and Vogel and talk to them.
Yeah.
Not just Ed, but the fact that Ed's involved at this point where we didn't hear anything about him being involved in the last movie, that gives me some hope. And
he barely advertised it. I remember us talking about how he barely said a thing about it until, he posted some tweets saying basically that it was doing well and everything, which obviously he's going to be happy about. But it didn't seem like he was saying too much about the movie before it came out. But that could also just be because he's known for not leaks, but more like teasing. And they didn't want him teasing anything in case anyone could pick it apart, as the community tends to do. But I don't know.
He was also really involved in the games at that time too. That the movie was coming out. That was Mortal Kombat 11 was kind of in its peak around that time. So, but I honestly think I've seen more from Ed about the new movie than I already, and this new movie hasn't even given an announcement date or anything. And
he retweeted Max Huang's tweet as well recently, who played Kung Lao.
Yeah. Oh, I hope Max comes back. I hope we get Kung Lao again.
No, I'm pretty sure we will.
Well, let's see.
But
gosh, they were some of the best parts of the movie, in my opinion.
Definitely,
the King and Kung Lao.
Definitely, yeah. No, I'm very excited to see more from this. I know people have their gripes with the movie. I have certain criticisms of it too. But generally, as a whole, as I've maintained throughout this since I watched it, I enjoyed the movie quite a lot. And I think that, as you said, the previous script went through so many various iterations, and I feel like there was so much studio involvement to the point of not being involvement, but interference, that it affected the movie negatively, which I actually think is a similarity between Mortal Kombat and perhaps the first Death Note, because I think that for some reason, maybe they thought that a Japanese anime's plot line had to be changed for the American masses rather than for if it was going into Asia, So I don't know. I feel like
that happens each time.
Yeah, exactly. They can never just tell a plot the way it's supposed to be. So perhaps we're going to get, a fresh take, but more in line with what is true to Mortal Kombat.
I hope so. And the thing is, there is a team there that is passionate about Mortal Kombat. And so I think if there's no studio meddling, then we are going to get a amazing Mortal Kombat movie. Now, if the studio gets in there and says, well, we need this much screen time for this character because we can sell more toys if we have this and this and this, don't. Just stay away, please.
Well, I mean,
let them make it.
We're seeing products about the Mortal Kombat movie, and that includes, I think, firstly, Raiden, based on Tadanobu Asano's portrayal. We're seeing Sub-Zero, we're seeing Scorpion, and we're seeing Cole Young. I've seen chairs specifically about those characters, and then I think I've also seen a Cole Young figurine, if I remember correctly. But
there's pop figures.
Funko Pops.
Make those for him. Yeah, Funko Pops. And these are all from the last movie.
Yes.
So, I don't know how much they're going to push merchandising on this new movie. I mean, Mortal Kombat's a gold mine. This intellectual property. So I mean, hopefully we can get some more Mortal Kombat stuff that we have to buy because we're obsessed fans, I guess. I don't know.
But I mean, returning back to Evo, I think that the reason I've brought this up here is because I don't think we're actually going to get a trailer for Evo. So many people are talking about a potential trailer, but as far as I understand, it's just entered filming. We're not going to see anything. We're not going to get any teases, nothing. But what I do think we could get a trailer for, or a tease of some sort, is the recently leaked Mortal Kombat Legends Snowblind.
Yes, maybe. I don't think so. But let's talk about this. So for those who aren't familiar, Mortal Kombat Legends is the completely animated Mortal Kombat movie written by Jeremy. What's that?
Movies,
that's right. Yeah. So yeah, the completely animated Mortal Kombat movies, which are actually written by one of our previous guests from the Realmcast,
Jeremy Adams.
Yep. And if you're interested in that, please have a listen because we sit down with him. We talked about one of the previous ones he'd done, Scorpion Revenge. But these animated movies, there was the first one that came out, did very, very well. Second one also did well despite the fans having some issues with it.
See, I remember us discussing this, and Scorpion's Revenge, firstly, was amazing. I really, really enjoyed it. But and that's what we discussed with Jeremy Adams, actually, when he came on. He took us through it and everything. And it was a really fun discussion. He's a great guy. And he teased that, a sequel was coming when he was talking to us. And we got that sequel. And I think we were both of the exact same mindset that the beginning of the movie itself was fun and it was cool. And it was great to see all these characters until it started to seem like it was very rushed and then turned into this big kaiju battle between the One Being and Liu Kang's, what was the form? I don't even remember. He turned into some big elder god thing. I don't know.
I haven't
Dragon. Yeah, that was it.
I haven't watched it enough.
Yeah, I've only watched it once just because of the ending.
Yeah, Scorpion's Revenge, I've watched a lot. But that one, so and that one, I love the first half of the movie. It's a great Mortal Kombat series, especially, as far as seeing Mortal Kombat in media like that. It's one of the closest renditions to like a Mortal Kombat 2 plot, in my opinion. And then the second half, we have our issues with.
Yes.
But this one is a completely new story, supposedly. And what are the titles again?
So we have a DVD cover leak, which shows Sub-Zero looking much older with white or gray hair and the scar. So Kuai Liang. We have Shang Tsung in the background wearing what looks to be his Mortal Kombat 11 outfit, but not looking like Carrie. Now, Sub-Zero also seems to be wearing his MK11 outfit without the headgear. But then we have a younger looking Kenshi on the front who has his blindfold and the sword of Sento, I think. It's called Mortal Kombat Legends Snowblind. However, there are leaks which have pointed to it also being called Coming Storm.
Yeah, and we actually received a tweet from at Jataka, I think that's his name. And
Jataka,
he said to us, I think
the Oni, the personal assassin, the demons rather, from Quan Chi's assassins.
Oh, nice. Well, his actual full name is Dingus Soldier Boy Era, so I did not make that
in the passport,
right? But anyways, so he tweeted out to us. He said, "I think Coming Storm is a localization thing, like how Conquest was called Crusades in certain parts of the world."
Yes.
And that can make a lot of sense. As we've talked about before, these things pick up different titles depending on where they're released. So maybe both of these titles are correct, or maybe just one. We'll see.
No, I think it is that. It's going to be a localization thing. But considering they both relate in some way to ice or rain or something, I have a feeling that this is going to be extremely Sub-Zero heavy. And that's actually huge news because Sub-Zero has always been getting the short end of the stick, whether it be Kuai Liang or Bihan. So, I mean, it's actually funny. Before I went, sorry?
Do you really think Sub-Zero is going to be the main focus on this one? Because
he's going to get a lot of focus.
So okay, yeah, he'll get a lot of focus. But this story is going to be a Kenshi story, like we can tell from the box art. Because first one was Scorpion.
Ask me why. Ask me why.
I think. Oh wait, you tell me why. Tell me why.
Snow blind.
Well, I get that, but I understand the title. I think, in my opinion, Sub-Zero is going to be the background, like old. He's going to take over the Raiden role. He's going to be teaching Kenshi or something like that, and guiding him and stuff. But I think it's 100% a Kenshi story. Just like in Scorpion's Revenge, Scorpion took the centerpiece on the box cover art.
Yeah.
Defenders of the Realm, or what was it? Battle for the Realms.
Battle of the Realms
was Liu Kang. Yeah, and Liu Kang was the center point, and he was the main character. And this one, I think Kenshi is our main protagonist, and we're going to have these other characters kind of sprinkled in it the way that they've done previously with the past movies.
I think you're right to an extent. I do believe that Sub-Zero will get a bit more attention than you seem to be implying, but he probably could get less attention than I seem to be implying. But what I really like, I mean, firstly, the cover itself is beautiful. I think this is really nice. Now, Kenshi's outfit is very interesting.
The artwork they do for these covers is always beautiful. I don't know who that artist is, but it's worth finding out and giving him a shout out.
Definitely.
Each box cover art has been great, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Like, I'd get all these box arts and just put them on my wall. They're that beautiful. But
yeah,
it's really funny because before I went to bed last night, I was thinking just randomly, I was like, we could really do with some more Kenshi stuff. Because I really like Kenshi, and I mean, is a character that not many people can really not like. I feel in Mortal Kombat, he fits all the Mortal Kombat boxes. You know what I mean? And I think he's even Ed Boon's second favorite character. So I was surprised that he didn't make it into 11, but I thought it was a good thing that he was sitting out and taking a break, apart from his death in the crypt. But it's so funny that I woke up to news or a leak of Kenshi getting an entire movie. And I'm really excited, but I really want to see how this works because he looks really young, in my opinion, on the cover.
Oh yeah, I think so.
But he's blinded, and Sub-Zero looks older. So I'm wondering just how young they're going to make Kenshi in comparison to Sub-Zero and what this plotline is going to be like, which actually leads me back to an article from January 2021. Do you remember an article? This was from the Illuminarity.com, so just for the record, okay? But there's an article which said that there were new characters coming to an animated Mortal Kombat 3 film. And it broke down 5 characters. Do you remember this article at all?
Not at all.
Okay.
No.
So, firstly, it was looking for voice actors. And Kuai Liang was one of the first ones.
It was a casting call that they wrote about?
It was a casting call.
Is that it?
Exactly. So it was early in development at this point in time, and it was animated. The casting call was giving a clear description of what vocal type WB was seeking for each role. Kuai Liang was a male, 60 to 70s, Asian male, a warrior who is now a pacifist, seasoned, strong, and powerful voice. This fits the cover art. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it does.
But what fits even more are the other 4 characters mentioned in here. Because considering it's Kenshi, I mean, it fits but also doesn't to an extent. It's a weird one. But Kenshi's past has a lot of issues with the Red Dragon, right?
Mm-hmm.
In this case, the 4 other characters are actually all from the Black Dragon. We have Cobra, Kira, Tremor, and Cabal. Now, Tremor is a standout appearance, in my opinion. If he's actually in this, I'm so happy. Yeah, right?
Oh, I know.
but it's very interesting because, I mean, listen to this. So Cobra and Kira are both 25 to 35. Cobra being a fiery street fighter. Standing voice is raspy. Kira, troublesome, sadistic.
Hold on.
Sorry. Yep.
Did they just call Cobra a fiery street fighter?
Yeah.
That is hilarious. And do you want to explain to the audience why that's hilarious?
Go for it.
Cobra is basically a kind of joke at the Street Fighter characters. Almost like a bizarro version of like Ken or Ryu or one of the two. So the fact that they put that in the casting call makes me laugh. Sorry,
it's so
go
good.
ahead.
But no, I had the exact same reaction when I first read it. But Kira is supposed to be troublesome, sadistic, cruel but level-headed, mid to low register with scratchy and textured voice. Cabal doesn't say his age, which I find interesting. Ninja with a scarred face, immovable, badass, mid to low register. And then Tremor, male, 30 to 40, looking for an African-American voice to sound, bold, weighty, strong voice, intimidating, and burly.
Cool.
But
I like it.
It's so interesting to me because, like I said, it makes sense, but it also doesn't. I would expect the Red Dragon to show up here, but they seem to be using the Black Dragon. Now, that's if this is to be believed. For all we know, this article is completely off.
Right. Could be unrelated.
Exactly. But the fact that Kuai Liang is mentioned...
any sources verifying this. It's just all speculation on our half.
Exactly. But it does say 60 to 70 Sub-Zero or Kuai Liang, and that leads me to believe that, hey, this could relate in some way to the Black Dragon, which would also work with the fact that Sub-Zero in the comics got his, or Kuai Liang in the comics got his scar off of Kano. Now, we don't see Kano on this list, but I would assume that Kano turns up at some point and possibly has a feud with Sub-Zero.
Did Sub-Zero have a scar in the last movie?
No, because that was Bihan. Oh, do you mean in the Battle for the Realms?
Battle for the Realms, yeah.
Yes, I
don't
think he
recall.
did. I think
he did too.
I'm actually checking now while we talk. I'm curious about this.
But yeah, I mean, you're looking at this though as if this should follow Mortal Kombat lore, and
that's true.
Like as we've talked about previously in our last episode, when we were sitting down with Jeremy Adams, he is not necessarily writing Mortal Kombat lore stories. He is writing a story that gets you invested for this segment of the story. the whole Scorpion's revenge, it was not necessarily set up to follow Mortal Kombat's lore. It was set up to get you invested in Scorpion and his life and to see him get his revenge. And, it ended with him being the one to defeat Goro, which fans had an issue with, but it fit the story.
Mhm.
And that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to tell stories and not necessarily write out the lore as we remember it. So maybe he's just using these characters as a plot device to advance the story if they are in it.
Well, you're right, and that's actually a positive in my opinion. Now, firstly, just before I respond, Sub-Zero did have a scar in Battle for the Realms.
Okay.
Battle of the Realms.
Nice.
But I think that the first two movies, yes, you're right in that they're sort of their own thing, but I do feel like he was still setting up the world of Mortal Kombat in line with, or in some sort of line with the previously known Mortal Kombat plot lines. So obviously using existing lore, which to me really shows that he's done his homework. I have to say, despite the fact that I had issues with the ending of the last movie, he definitely knows his Mortal Kombat lore. You can see him trying to fit that stuff in there. And I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, it's like he stated on the episode, he is a Mortal Kombat fan.
Exactly.
And, he wants to tell his story, but he is a fan of Mortal Kombat. And so he's got these little segments to tell and to make them entertaining. But at the same time, he likes Mortal Kombat and he knows these little details about it that he gets to sprinkle throughout the story.
Which is exactly why I'm so excited for this movie, even in comparison to the last two. Because
really,
as you were just saying, they do have the general plot of Mortal Kombat within them, but they do relate specifically to Scorpion. Now, I've always felt that one of the strengths of Mortal Kombat's lore, or just Mortal Kombat in general, is all the individual characters and how they intertwine with one another, and then directly or indirectly affect the overarching lore of the series. Now, Mortal Kombat, in my opinion, doesn't need, even in my opinion, a movie. I think that Mortal Kombat should have been a series because of all these characters should get their focus. And here it looks like an actual standalone thing focused on Kenshi and or just Kenshi, but Sub-Zero, right? So we see that focus, and that allows us to just really like hone in on one specific character and how they interact with one another. And again, showing that he's done his homework, because Kenshi and Sub-Zero have worked together in, I think it was either Deception or Deadly Alliance, but Kenshi and Sub-Zero did actually cooperate. So I don't know, I'm more excited for this one than I am the other two. And that's saying something, because I really, really was hyped for both. I may have been slightly disappointed with the ending of the second one, but I still really look forward to them. But this one, in my opinion, is going to be something different. This is what I feel is what Mortal Kombat needs. Just that whole... It's like, I don't know if we have any Soulsborne fans listening, but Dark Souls, Bloodborne, these kind of games, they don't just tell you the story by throwing it in your face. They have little things which you learn about the story as you go through, whether it be in Mortal Kombat's case, for example, the characters or who they interact with, or the items or artifacts that they come across, etc. So I'm hyped.
I'm excited for it because I always want more Mortal Kombat stuff. I don't know how the story's going to go, because if Sub-Zero is going to be like this elderly sensei figure, and the Kenshi's this young swordsman that turns blind, it's going to be so far away from lore. Like, I'm sure Jeremy will still sprinkle in the lore the way that we like it to be, but I'm worried about fan reception on this, to be honest, because we like Mortal Kombat and we don't like a lot of changes to Mortal Kombat, as was evident with kind of the last two movies. There's a lot of uproar about some of the decisions, and this could be so far out there that it could be amazing, or it could be so far out there that people get really mad. So I don't know. I'm excited to see it either way. Like I said, I always want more Mortal Kombat stuff, and I think Jeremy Adams really has a passion for Mortal Kombat, so it's going to be cool to see what he writes here. So we'll see what we get.
Well, we're going to see. I do really hope that we get to see, for example, Ermac and other characters who I feel up until now have not gotten to the degree that many of us would like to see. And so the fact that it's Kenshi focus is a big thing in my opinion.
I am super excited to see Trimmer and Cobra. I mean, I just want to see Cobra for no other reason than it's Cobra. And everybody makes fun of characters like Mocap and stuff, but like Cobra.
Well, actually, it's funny because Cobra and Kira were both technically rip-off characters, Blood Rain and Ryu. And Ken.
Oh, I didn't realize Kira was a ripoff also.
Yeah, she was. Even her outfit in her first game,
really?
I think that was Deception, was very Blood Rain.
But I love it. This is what I love about Mortal Kombat. It's stuff like this. Like that's why I do this show.
All right. Well, I mean, let's see if we get a trailer. I don't think we will, but considering that release is supposed to be for October, according to the leaked release dates or just leaked details in general, it is possible. Unlikely. I think Mortal Kombat fans need to try and stay calm, basically, for the next month or two at least. But at least we do have some news coming in, which is actually demonstrated by the fact we're even making this video in the first place. So unless we have anything else to talk about, FANTiM?
That's it for me.
All right. Well, it wasn't long enough, was it? Thank you to our listeners for joining us on our first Toasty Tuesday in a very, very long time. I'm very curious to hear about what you think of the topics from today. Do you think NRS or WB are actually going to do anything for the 30th anniversary for the first time in, what was it? You said 5 years. Is Injustice 3 or is Mortal Kombat 12 coming? What do you think? First? Not at all? Which one comes? Are you excited for the movie sequel? I know that the fan base has been quite divided on whether or not they enjoyed MK21, but I still think it's gotten enough attention that many of you do seem to like it. So let us know about that.
Also, what characters do you want to come back in the new movie? Do you want to see Cole Turner return? Who do you want to see?
Cole Young.
Shoot, that's his last?
That's the last name, yeah.
Yeah, but do you want to see Cole return, or are you hoping? There's a lot of articles right now. Maybe Johnny Cage is the replacement for Cole. Like, what are you hoping for?
Well, if you do remember, at the end of the movie, they were searching for Johnny Cage. So we'll see what happens. But I am actually curious. That's a good point. I'm very curious to see who you all would like to see and who you all would like to see return, as well as disappear. Let us know what you think as well about the recent leak with Legends. I know many of us have a bad taste in our mouth from the ending of that last movie, but I do think that many of us also really enjoyed Scorpion's Revenge to give this world of Mortal Kombat, this variation of it, another chance. So let us know if you're interested. Why? If you're not, why not? Let us know. We are looking forward to bringing you the next episode of the Realmcast with Diamond Select Toys coming very, very soon. And by very soon, I mean August 11th, so you have a date. This includes a Mortal Kombat figurine giveaway, which FANTiM was turning around to grab, I think. And you don't want to miss this. Yep, it is that one, but it's boxed. This is FANTiM's personal figurine. So join us for the episode to learn more details on how to enter this giveaway and possibly win your very own Mortal Kombat 1 Raiden from Diamond Select Toys. We have been somewhat quiet lately with the Mortal Kombat lull. We've mentioned that already, but we have got a lot of awesome news on the way. So to keep up to date with the Realmcast, to make sure you don't miss any of it, usual, like, follow, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell and all, so that way you can see when we're going live, as you do not want to miss what we have in store for you all. Thank you very much.